Hello. So today we're going to talk about self-reflection questions. These are questions that will ask about life. So we'll call them greater questions of life. Okay. So before we get to the questions, I want you to reflect on this statement, which is saying, life is the question and how you live it is your answer. Life is the question and how you live it is your answer. So what is your answer today about life? Okay, so going down into the questions of life, our first question is talking about what is the mind and how does it work? What is your own definition of the mind? How do you think it works? Is the mind different from the brain? How do you understand the mind? Those are some of your questions that you need to reflect on. Okay, so knowing how your mind works will give you more control over to use how to use the mind in order for you to think more healthy, more flexible, more resilient, and go supporting way. So remember, if you understand how the mind works and what the mind is, it's going to give you a proper way of thinking more healthy, more flexible, and supporting your goals. So the next question is, so now, our second question is, how is it that people best motivate themselves? Now, you need to understand what motivates you. You cannot motivate others if you do not know what motivates you. Okay, so what we are saying is, what drives you? Where do you get that energy and excitement to motivate yourself? Okay, you have to decide that. In order to motivate yourself, you need to understand your why. What is your why? Why do you want to achieve that goal? Why do you want to live in a life in a way that you want to? Why do you want to have that job? Why do you want that position? So those are some of the things that can help you to find your why. So when you understand your purpose, that will fuel your drive to achieve your goals. So I want you to understand this statement from Oprah Winfrey and be able to use it in your life. The statement says, create the highest, grandest, and vision possible for your life because you become what you believe. Did you hear that? Did you hear the power in that statement? I'll read it again. So Oprah Winfrey said, and I quote, create the highest, grandest, and vision possible for your life because you become what you believe. So I want to follow up that with another question. What is it that you're believing in yourself now? Do you understand the benefit of you knowing and creating your own vision? Now, we are not talking about small visions whereby anybody can be able to do what you are thinking about. So even in the Bible, it's written that write down your vision such that the person who is going to pass by and see your written vision, they may run away. Actually, they're supposed to think that you're crazy. If your vision or whatever you want to come about does not make people to think you're crazy, then it's not better enough. It has to scare people. And people should be able to think that you are crazy. But indeed, you're not. Because you're the only one who understands your vision. And you're the only one who can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Now, as a counselor, this is very important that you also understand what is motivating yourself to become a counselor. Okay, let's not dwell much on this question. I'll leave it up to you. Our next question is, what is the main key to resolving life's problems? Now, you understand that in life, you always face problems here and there. It's part of life, but how you deal with that is what is important. All right. So, I want you to understand that what are your life greatest problems? You need to understand that question for you to be able to resolve your problems. In your life, understanding yourself is key. And how you're using your mind to resolve those problems is also going to instill your empowering beliefs, and you are going to stop your self-distraction habit. Very, very important. So I'll leave that question up to you to reflect as a counselor and how you'll be able to resolve your client's problems. Okay, the next question. How can we communicate with others more effectively? Now, you need to understand that as a counselor, you'll be communicating with your clients often. Understanding the importance of communicating effectively is very important for your clients to be able to be helped, or for you to be able to help your clients. And what we are saying is that even as much as you are going to go in these counseling sessions, you need to have or buy some form of humor. It doesn't mean that the counseling session has to be a serious one, intense, such that it creates some form of stress during the communication session. No, you can easily bring up jokes just so you are engaging with the person that you're counseling, and for them to be able to buy in, and you be able to build that rapport between you and your clients. Okay, it is also important as you are communicating that you need to promote some form of feedback during that counseling session. You understand that stages of communication requires that at the end you are able to receive the feedback. So it's very important that feedback is given at the end of it. Be ready also to involve yourself in difficult conversations as a counselor, but never should you use your emotions. Many are the times that you're going to face a lot of challenging clients, some of them who might not even accept their situation or their problem, and might be blaming that on other people and even yourself. But as a counselor, you need to understand how to handle those difficult communications without inputting your emotions. Okay. So now we are ready to move on to our second last question about life, which is talking about how does the mind influence our emotional experience? Now, is there a connection between the mind and emotions? How would you link your mind to the emotions that you face in life? I want you to answer that one. How would you link your emotions and your mind? Okay. Having answered that, how does the mind work? That's what you need to know. So many of the things that happen in our lives can disrupt our emotional health. Now, you need to know that health has to do with your emotional health. If you are not healthy emotionally, you're going to have an unhealthy life. So what we are saying is that emotion can lead to strong feelings of anxiety, sadness, and stress. Now you need to know that the body will also react physically to that stress, that anxiety, and whatever is making you upset. And you know that that could lead to having high blood pressure and also can cause stomach ulcer. Is it true or not? That's the question. So there are a lot of examples on how the mind and the emotions are linked, but I'll leave it up to you to reflect. And one of the questions, the follow-up questions that I want you to reflect on is, how did the COVID pandemic affect your emotions? You heard that right? So now, nobody, and I mean no one, would claim that COVID pandemic never affected them in any way. But I want you to reflect on how it affected your emotions. All right. So now, last but not the least, what does it mean for us to become self-actualized? So now, what is self-actualization? One thing that is common about self-actualization is Abraham Maslow of needs. So now we are going to research more on that because that is coming later in your assignment. But I want to define self-actualization. Self-actualization is basically realizing one's full potential. Being able to achieve your dreams entails that you have to realize your fullest potential. Now that goes back to the question number 2, where we talked about the vision. If you are able to achieve your vision, that could lead you to self-actualization. Okay, so now we understand these questions of these greater questions about life, and I want you to reflect on each and every question on this slide and how you can link them to helping your clients as you are going to be a professional counselor. So those are the questions that you need to reflect on and be able to find your own answers. Now, last but not the least, we have assignment 2 here, where we're going to discuss the theory of self-actualization and the hierarchy of needs of Abraham Maslow and how they resonate with your goals or your vision. Thank you for your time. I'll see you next.